Well, I'm gonna ramble a little bit as we start this off. If you want to share, but Mandalorian. So thoughts on Mandalorian? No spoilers, and it just came out last night.
No spoilers whatsoever. My initial feelings, and I'm just gonna adjust this a little bit here.
Sure.
Give me this shot when you take a couple weeks off. At first, I didn't really know what to think about it. The first half of the episode, I was kind of like, what's going on? And then the second half of the episode, I was like, this is exactly the feeling that I want in life.
Yes, that's pretty much how I felt about it. Like, the first half I was anticipating, I'm like, what are we getting at here? Like, there were some things that I would say are quasi fan service. The things that would have been they were not overt, but if you know what you were looking for, it was kind of fan service. And again, I won't spoil anything here. Very subtle things.
Particular character where I was like, is that? And then I was like, oh, nice touch. Because we had the subtitles on, obviously, because we have the kid in there sleeping. So that was the other thing. We had to wait for the perfect thing. So kids in there sleeping. So we have the subtitles on, and I was like, is that? And they're like, nope, it's not that. But you see where we were going with it. That whole last 15 minutes of the episode is fantastic.
That may be some of the best Star Wars we've had in a long time. They were like you said, it was exactly what I was wanting. I expected it to have a darker feel. It was it seems like almost it's a Western in space. And that's exactly what I wanted for Mandalorian. It's exactly what I wanted for this type of show. And I'm really excited, especially with the ending of the episode, which thankfully we watched last night. But I woke up this morning and there were people who were sharing articles from multiple publications. And that was the picture of the last thing in the thing was there. And I'm like, that's just wrong. It was less than 24 hours away. I mean...
And then honestly, that last bit, again, I kind of just wondering what the tone of the show, the kind of direction that we're going to go. Now I have a decent idea based on some things that they did with him sitting there, combined with the ending of the episode. I'm like, okay, I have a general thought line of where Favreau is going to be going with this. Who's the director, by the way, for those that don't know. Yeah, and people, I woke up yesterday morning, and there was already, an IGN thing, that blah, 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 at the end of the episode, this explained. And I was like, what do you guys do? The service has been live for 3 hours.
Yeah. And if you do something like that, then what you should show, just a picture of the Mandalorian, some promo stuff that everyone's seen, and then you just say... we're going to talk about the ending or ending explained. That's all you have to do. I did one of the YouTubers put an image that if you had seen the episode, you would know what they were referring to, but it was not an image of the thing. But it was ending explained, and I was like, that's funny because they did. But if you hadn't watched it, you wouldn't know why they put this other thing in the thumbnail. And I did hear some people saying, "Oh, well, why are you complaining?" I'm complaining because I was lucky enough to be able to watch it before it got spoiled for me. But we shouldn't have something spoiled so quickly by legitimate publications. We're not even talking about just trolls and morons and people that you want to defriend or unfollow on your Facebook feed. I'm talking about legitimate publications that are putting this out. Like you said, 3 hours after. IGN putting out 3 hours afterwards.
And luckily theirs didn't have that spoiler. It did have a thing, it didn't... I'm trying to skirt around this the right way. It had a specificity, but it did not have a picture. It did not have a description, but it had a specific thing that you are now looking for at the end of the episode. And at first I thought when one thing showed up, I was like, oh, that's probably what they were talking about. And then we get to the very end of the episode, I'm like, oh, that's not what they were talking about at all. Which, so as long as you're willing to skirt that line. But then we've been having a lot of like I'm in some gaming groups, as we know, and there's a lot of talk about like spoilers in terms of like there's 2 big games coming out this weekend.
Yeah.
And there's already a lot of material out there, and there's a lot of speculative material. Pokemon and for sure has had a bunch of stuff where like there was this long Reddit thread. I don't know if you saw anything on this that was saying everything wrong with the game.
Yeah.
Then all these reviews come out today, and none of them mentioned that at all.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. And so I was like, so is that Reddit thread just some BS person who spent that long making it up, or did they have some like review copy that was like early? But there's still tons of people just sharing that willy-nilly. And you know, at what point do you have to say like, okay, I'm not going to engage on the internet, but then how do I not engage on the internet? I'm on the internet every day. Like, I feel like spoiler culture is just here to stay. I don't know if there's anything we can do about it.
It is, unfortunately, and I mean, thankfully none of Fallen Order has been spoiled for me, because, I mean, I'm going to play Pokemon, that's fine, but
I will end somebody.
Yeah, seriously. I had someone messaging me from work, you know, joking, saying this game is trash. It's going to be horrible. And I'm waiting, you know, talking about Star Wars, and I'm like, either you have no idea, or you're upset about something like EA that has nothing. I'm like, it's yes, EA is coming out with it, but EA didn't make the game. Everything that I see in this game, the only negative that I could see, which is one that I have not brought up to you because I didn't want to spoil anything, and I know you're going to buy it anyways. I know we talked about it being Metroidvania-like, and apparently there's a lot of stuff that does take it is similar to Dark Souls, and someone did So I heard some people saying like, okay, it was really challenging in this area, but at the same time, I think you're up for a challenge. That's the only thing I could see someone starting this game or picking up this game and going, oh, this is not what I wanted, because maybe they wanted to get to play as a Jedi and just mow through people, but you're not a Jedi Knight in this, you know. I don't know if you're a Padawan or if you're Force sensitive, whatever it is. You have Force abilities, but when you start the game, you're not the most powerful Jedi Knight. You shouldn't be. This is character growth. It's important. So
no, as I understand it, I think he was like a Padawan learner when 66 went down.
Sure,
but I'm not entirely like I remember the lore coming out during E3, and I've since forgotten. I love these Titanfall wall runs, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. That's totally Titanfall. I saw the Souls aspect. I mean, they're gonna make a Star Wars game accessible though, because it's a franchise. So even if it was, you just crank it down to easy. I play all games on normal though. I expect to be fun.
Okay, I will say, and we're actually just gonna segue into this anyway. So I've been playing Death Stranding.
Nice.
So I picked it up this weekend. Started playing it. So I'm a little over an hour into it. I know I'm not very far, but I didn't get to play it this weekend. I got to play it Monday, and then Tuesday's Disney Plus. So yeah, get off my back. But I played a little over an hour, and I like it. But I am now understanding what people are not liking about the game. I'm understanding why people are, I wouldn't even call it review bombing, but I'm seeing a lot of people who have this tons of negativity towards the game. And at the same time, I wonder if those people also did not play games that were walking simulators. Because this game isn't a walking simulator, but like, okay, if you played Dear Esther and you played Firewatch, and the gameplay is there, but it's a majority of it is taking in your scenery, and you're doing you're doing stuff that's a little bit menial. It's not, but it's more about the story. It's about the experience. And that's what this is. You are, I mean, obviously I'm not going to spoil anything. This is like one of the very first parts of the game, but you pick up packages. You basically you're like an Amazon courier of the future, they
were calling it like FedEx Stranding or something.
But at the same time, I think the negativity that I was seeing from some people after playing the game and then reading some reviews, I realized like these people wanted to sit down and play for an extended period of time. In this game, you'll play for X amount of time, and then there's some cutscenes. You play another 10 minutes, and there's another cutscene. The further you go into the game, it starts to open up, and you play more. But this game is all about story. It's all about getting you into the world. And I think that's why some people weren't digging it. It's a different style, and I think that's why, segueing into some of the news this week, Kojima was saying that he thinks that essentially Americans don't like the style, and I didn't have the full quote up here, but he was basically saying that the reviews in Europe and Japan were really doing great, but he said here in the United States I got it here. Here in the United States, on the other hand, we had stronger criticism. Maybe this is a game that is difficult to understand for a certain type of critic or audience. Americans are big fans of first-person shooters. Death Stranding is not. It is flying higher.
I wanted to so before I get into Kojima's thing, I want to say, based on the thing, I've been listening. There's a podcast that I listen to where they literally just talk about what they're playing, like that for like the last couple weeks, and it's like a 2-hour long podcast, and they just literally just break down like, I'm playing this. It could be new, it can be old, but like literally the 3 people that were on the podcast spent a good hour talking about just playing Death Stranding. No spoilers either, which is pretty impressive. They made it sound like a game that I'm willing to try.
Yeah.
As soon as it goes on sale. I'm not going to buy it new because I don't have time right now. I have Star Wars and Pokemon coming up.
Of course.
But whenever I see it on digital sale, I'm going to pick it up because that walking simulator thing that you described, that experiencing the world thing that you described, like, I don't like MGS because it's just not my thing. I'm just not I'm not a, what do they call it? A tactical espionage.
Sure.
Like, that's just not my kind of, I hate stealth games.
Yeah.
I just don't do it. But this kind of game where they were like, just experience it, man. Like, just go into it. They were like, don't rush it. A couple of them talked about how they hated having to rush it because they were reviewing the game for their site. But they're like, don't rush it. Like, if you're feeling not bored, but if you're feeling like done for that moment, set it down, come back later, like, and you'll probably enjoy it a whole lot more if you're not trying to get to the end of the game. They made it sound like a game that I'm interested in.
That makes me happy. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and versus what Kojima said, where like, I hated reading this. Like, so this was translated from an Italian thing, so that's where was wondering if he was going to come out this week and say, like, I was mistranslated. But I didn't see anything on that in the last couple of days, so I'm assuming he's pretty much standing by it. Like, F you, dude. Like, that's not the only thing we care about. We're the what? Like, you had an entire country propping you up, man. Like, as soon as you left, like, Konami, everybody was like, yeah, Kojima,
We all got behind him. All got behind him. I got it sitting right here. Like we all got behind you when you left Konami. This is quasi spoilers. It's the first hour, but I thought I would at least to warn you, because as you're like, oh, I'm interested, I want to tell you something that may make you go, not necessarily disinterested, but I want to, give you that bittersweet if you can let me spoil something. So it's like the first hour of the game. The BBs are the bridge babies. That's the baby that he carries. I don't know if you hear what they are or.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are babies whose mothers died before they gave birth. So they what do they refer to?
How much they focus on that?
I don't think they focus on it a terrible amount, but at the same time, I think that it's Kojima, and I know you didn't like Metal Gear, but like Kojima like goes really dark, and that's important in my opinion. It's like you have to have that to understand context. I don't think they didn't go terribly into it in what I did, but like I said, I'm an hour in. I don't think this is too spoilery, but like they're talking about that, and then like Dead Man, who's Guillermo del Toro's character, is like.
Can you ever just give anybody a normal name?
Yeah, fragile dead man. I know. And he's like
Big boss.
Like he's like, where's what's his name? Norman Reedus is like, where's the my BB? It's not even his, but it's like the one that he had. And Deadman's like, oh well, it was defective, so we did away with it or something like that. It's very dismissive, like we basically probably destroyed it, and that's where I was like, that's kind of sad to me, because they didn't show it. I think it's dark enough when they're explaining that kind of stuff, but yeah, it's sad. You do have that connection to it, but at the same time, okay, I just wanted to I was like, okay, you're excited, but let me make sure you know this part.
I mean, I'm not excited. I'm just willing to try it when it's
sure.
Like, I went from being completely out to I'll give it a shot, and there's still a length of time issue, I think, with the game with me, where I don't know if I'm gonna. But well, again, we'll see. Maybe it'll totally get me because they don't focus on that stuff in the stuff that I've been reading and hearing. It's more about the experience.
Okay.
More about the walking around, the social aspect that they've done, where I've heard nothing but good things about the tech that went into this, where the fact that on a day one launch there was no issues in terms of the online connection things, and that's insane.
Yeah. I will say
that stuff sound cool.
Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate on it because the online stuff, you don't actually see people,
no,
but you can see things that they've done.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll play devil's advocate to be like, well, if it didn't work, then you wouldn't see it. So either way, honestly, I've had no issues with it. I think the install wasn't even that large, but everything, the music is wonderful, by the way. It's not my style of music, but the way that, which apparently Kojima, because of course he selected the soundtrack and everything. Sure. It's really good and really well done. I've, like I said, played it over an hour. I think I joked with you saying I think I played 10 minutes of actual gameplay. Right. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, if it goes on sale, I think it's definitely worth a shot. I mean, in a year or so, it'll probably be on a deep discount. So you've got Star Wars coming up. You have Pokemon.
Next spring is insane. I'm sure there's going to be some digital sale that is hey, you can get it for $20. I'll pay $20.
Yeah, grab that. I mean, I was just thinking we have so many games coming out the end of this year, beginning of next year.
2020 is insane.
Yeah, it's just put it on the back burner. You're going to be all right. There's so many games. I think I jokingly started referring to it as my retirement list of games, where I'm it's on my back burner, but when am I going to get to it? Eventually.
I don't know, I've talked to you about this before, how I keep a list of games that I play every year. And so right now, 2019, I'm up to 42 games. By the end of this week, I'll be at 43 and maybe 44, just depending on how it all works out. But I already have my list going for 2020 of not games that I've played, obviously, but I already have 7 games that are relatively early in the year to buy, that I need to buy and get. Man, it's insane. But I need to talk about the game that I finished, because I think that you need to play this game.
I think I need to play it. The more that I hear, the more that I feel I really need to jump in.
This is Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
I did finish it at about 28 hours, which is one reason why I loved it. You can go longer. There are some quests I think that I missed, maybe by not talking to the right people, and then there's one quest that I just didn't want to do. But I've been saying over and over again how since becoming a parent, I've just been loving RPGs, just because I feel like I'm always progressing. I'm always doing something in the story. And in this case, they just give you your quest log that you can always look at. So I can always just go check something off the list. There was nights where I only had maybe 30 minutes or an hour. I was kind of tired, but I wanted to wind down and play a game. I could complete 2 or 3 quests easily because of how it worked out. If you like Fallout, or if you just like American RPGs, I think you should play this game. And whenever I say American RPGs or Western RPGs, as some people refer to them, I just mean it's not a JRPG. It's totally you can see it in here. It's first person shooter, but you totally level up. I played a character. My captain was not a fighter. Like I could kill things,
Okay.
but I put all my stats into talking and then computer and like hacking and lockpick related things. So there was lots of fights where I'm about to get into a fight, and the guy's like, "Well, you know, blah blah blah," and then because of my stats and how I weighted them, I was able to persuade them not to fight. I won't spoil anything in any detail, but like one minor quest, it was like a side quest. They sent me to kill this guy, and they were like, "Kill him and bring me proof that you killed him." And I was like, okay, no problem. And I go talk to the guy, and I'm just like, hey, why don't you just hand me this proof? I'll let you go, and nobody will be the wiser. And because of my stats, the guy was like, okay, sure. And so he gives me the proof. I take the proof back. I complete the quest. The guy lives. Like, I didn't have to kill anybody. And then awesome. Because I did like tech skills, there was parts where they were like, you're going to need to go kill this guy to get this thing. I was like, or I could just hack the computer and not kill this guy at all. Yeah. So I put mine completely into talking. You can go completely brutal. I read online that you can have a playthrough where you literally kill every meaningful NPC if you want to, and you can still progress the game somehow. Maybe it has its own weird, dark killing ending. I don't know. The colors are great. The music is there. It's just, you know, it's not very present. But if one of your problems with Fallout is the color palette, this one has colors coming out the wazoo. Then all my gripes are minor. I think that you can totally tell it's a AA game. I think, like, for example, I'm very tired of non-talking protagonists. Like Mass Effect did this 10 years ago. There's so much good dialogue. The writing is excellent. Yeah. The writing is top notch. I just wish that my character talked. And my wife told me that in like Dragon Age Origins, you could pick like 3 different voices, like where it's like a gruff voice and, you know, whatever. But there's 3 different voices, I think, per gender. Yeah. And then after that, you would pick your dialogue option, and then your character would say that dialogue. I wanted that. It doesn't have that. It's okay. But every other character's voice, and that's the only reason I have a problem with it. Some people got on to me about that. They're like, well, I like that. I'm like, but every single other character in the game talks.
You're right. One. Yeah, you're right. Mass Effect did it. Dragon Age did it. Dragon Age, I'll say, at least my playthrough, the only thing that I didn't like, and it may be because of the variants, maybe because there were so many different voices that you could have chosen. Sometimes you would select something, and they would say the dialogue wouldn't quite fit what you felt, what I felt would be the selection. Yeah. But what you mentioned, this is one of the reasons that I want to play this game. My favorite Fallout is Fallout New Vegas. Of course. Obsidian made it. It's the best Fallout game. Anyone could fight me in the street for that, but it is the best. The color palette, of course, is a problem, but you can play Fallout New Vegas without killing anyone. And I don't know if this is that much into it, but the fact that you can dissuade people and they didn't force you to kill people, they give you real choices in how you can go about something. And I feel like Fallout 4 was good, but a lot of the quests were lazy. Some of the story was really good, but a lot of the quests were lazy.
The forced combat in Fallout 4 that I didn't appreciate.
Yeah.
No, so the only thing that I know that you for sure have to kill are like there's beasties, you know, you're roaming around the world, and there's these little alien dog type things, and so things that attack like animals in the wild. Sure. That you have to fight because you're not going to outrun them. From what I could tell, in terms of just, there's also like some bit like non-important bad guys and stuff that are just kind of sitting around, like, I don't know, like Tusken Raider type people. Sure. They don't talk. Or Borderlands, where it's those like just maniacs who are just kind of like all over the place. Those are the kinds of people. But it's, in terms of like meaningful characters, there was one that I felt bad about killing, and like I didn't think that the way that I was talking was leading me to it. But then she pulled a gun on me, so then you do what you got to do. Yeah. but I liked there was more than one ending. I can tell there's more than one ending based on my choices. There's definitely like a line. There's 2 or 3 different lines in the sands where it's like you could cross this point and you know that you're going to go this way. You can cross this point and you're going to go this way, and you get. There's definitely at least 2 or 3 possible endings. It could be more based on what you do throughout the rest of the game and like how you do it. But it's one of my top 2 games. It's between this and Fire Emblem so far for my favorite games of the year. It was great. Fantastic. Yeah. Again, there's some other minor gripes, like the menus suck. Like the items, you pick up a bunch of trash items that like you just wish that you could organize them by what they did. Like one will like boost your like computer skills, you know, and one will boost your talking skills, and one will like minus things. And there's tons of different health items, and you can't like sort it by like this is a health item, this is a perk item. Like
you can do that in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, there's nothing like that, and that's kind of annoying. But I used so few items because I was going a non-combatant route that it really didn't matter to me. But if you're going a combat route or you play it on like a hard mode, it might annoy you a little bit more.
Sure.
I also just hate encumbrance. Encumbrances are so stupid. But there's like some perks. Like once you level up enough times, if you put perk points into encumbrance things, it becomes pretty negligible. So all my gripes are minor. I loved it. It's great.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was going to love it. I thought I was going to like it. I thought I was going to dig it, but I loved it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put that on my list for Black Friday. I think it's going to be on some sales for Black Friday. There's a few games that
if you can't get it for 60, you could probably get it like for 40. Probably. Yeah, I don't know how big of the sale it's going to be, but I imagine somewhere digitally or like GameStop or something will have it.
Yeah, some of them do. Like Best Buy likes to do a buy 2 get 1 free kind of thing, and that kind of thing. And usually they're already discounted, and then you do that. So not deep discounts, but yeah, I'm not expecting it for 20 by the end of the year by any means. But yeah, I'm looking out. I'm looking out for Black Friday. With no segue whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
non
sequitur. So China is introducing restrictions for minors.
Are you showing a Hearthstone video right now?
Yeah, I'm showing a Hearthstone video because that's how I roll. So China bringing out restrictions for video games and for minors. I've said it before. I'm a little bit more, and I'm not in favor of what China's doing, by the way.
Okay.
Out of the two of us, I'm one who's more for, hey, we need to restrict this. We need to police it in one way. I don't think the government should be policing it. I think the parent should be policing it. I think it should be about communication. And when reading through the what they have to do, they're talking about preventing minors from indulging in games, talking about between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. minors not playing games, and restricting minors from playing games that have sexually explicitness, goriness, violence, and gambling. And again, I'm not saying that I condone any of this, but I would like for parents to be more aware of what's going on.
Sure.
And I would like for parents to, because I can't tell you how many times I'm in a conversation with an adult who's more adult than I am, and they're talking about their kids, and they're like, oh yeah, my kid's playing this game. And I'm like, well, do they have access to your credit card, or do they have, and they have no idea. They're completely oblivious to the fact of some of the subject matter in the game, or loot boxes, microtransactions, any of that. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm not for this, but at the same time, like, I feel like China was doing it because they have just as much of a problem as we do, and then some when it comes to their video games. So what do you think? What do you think about this?
So I love parental features. Like I have a kid now. Like a lot of the devices I have parental features that I can code, and I will be taking advantage of those. But there was a few different problems here. One, what's it to you in terms of like the hours that the kids are put, like a government thing? What, like, so between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. they're not allowed to play, which, okay, they should be sleeping. Cool, but
what if it's before school? What if it's before school? They wake up early.
But then it gets even further. Minors are going to be restricted to 90 minutes of game time every day, except national holidays where they're allowed a maximum of 3 hours. what's it to you? Like 90-minute, like, again, these are like you said, a lot of these are guidelines that like inside of a home make sense, but like I already have a feeling that when it comes to me, it's going to be like, hey, did you do your homework? Like, let's see it. Homework's done. What okay, you have this long until you need to take a shower and get ready for bed. If that's 2 hours, cool. If that's only 30 minutes, cool. Like, what, like, but if they happen to have a day where they got everything done and they got a few hours to kill, like, but you're going to get capped. And there's a microtransaction thing of like purchases per month based on your age. But the thing that really got to me here was the way that they're going to like enforce this is that to have like a gaming system, I don't really know how they're doing it, but you're required to put in like your name, your phone number, and your address.
Yep.
While that can be tracked like through the internet anyway, people can always find you through your IP address. But like, what if I'm playing like, I don't know. there's like it blew my mind saying like that's the whole point of the internet, right? Is that like it's annoying, but at the same time, like there's that anonymity to things where I don't. There are those things where it's like you have to be 18 to sign up for this, and you know how many people ignore that, right?
Sure, you take your birth date, you add like 10 or 12 years, whatever you need, and
yeah, exactly. Like I want to play some GTA online. I'm gonna say that I'm 18 because my dad said it was okay. Like things like that, where like this is too much. This is like I know that it's cultural, but this is also just this is a governmental problem where. This is not cool. This is not okay. Like you should never be able to tell me what to do in those kinds of those things that are not like harming it. Like I get like there are things that make sense where it's like you can't give your kid alcohol like that. Those are drugs, but it's video games, dude. Yeah. Like I can't imagine what my life would be like if I had been restricted to 90 minutes of gaming a day.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, and I'm just thinking like
2 or 3 a.m. playing WoW every day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't that bad. I mean, I got a little bad, but at the same time, like you were saying, that's up to the parent. Like if you're telling your kid, hey, you have your homework done, let me see it. What if the kid gets it done on the bus from home from school? What if they know, if they're like me and they were like, okay, hold on, I'm gonna get home at this time, I'm gonna have this much time where I'm gonna eat and I gotta play, I gotta shower and some reasonable family time or what have you, and then you go, okay, how much can I squeeze out to be in bed by my curfew or whatever you want to call it? Again, parental
I want to be the very best that ever was.
So you're like, I gotta min max this, and that's seriously what I was like. I will do my homework on the bus ride. I will do my homework at recess, and then when I get home, I'm like, homework's done. I'm gonna play Resident Evil or whatever the game is.
Yeah,
like that's. I agree. Homework's done. What else? Everything else should be between the parent, and that's what I was saying. Like, I don't condone it. I like that they're showing these things, but as soon as I read that you have to give your name and a phone number and your date of birth, and immediately I'm like, I'm out. And I'm not usually one who's like, oh, it's all about my privacy, whatever. Like, yeah, the internet, you have anonymity, but you also can have a lack of privacy depending on it. But why you're gonna hand that out and tie it to a gamer tag or what have you? Yeah, I'm hard out on this, and this is why. We can't in America say this is wrong, but the brutality and everything, and we'll get a soapbox, but what's going on in Hong Kong is messed up no matter what side of the fence you're on. This is just too much for me.
Yeah, it's just it's a sign of these are the kind,
it's cultural.
Well, I mean, it's the sign that these are the kind of governments that you gotta watch out for.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's anybody that would be trying to push that way in the States, but it's just this. I don't know. I'm all for certain things being government controlled, and this isn't a political podcast, but when it comes to things that are just inside the home, this thing, you just gotta let some things be, and there's some things where it's like, this is too far. Like, it's a video game, dude. Like,
Yeah.
go get up off my back.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay. On to the last topic before we wrap up the news. So I honestly, this is the first time I'd seen it before, but like XO19, Xbox 19. Like, I was reading it, I'm like, did they just come out with that name? Because I don't remember it from before. But Xbox hold a conference starting tomorrow. This is their European, the biggest Xbox like a thing of the year, I should say. 14th to the 16th, running out of London. I'm assuming exclusively on Mixer. I didn't read that, but
yeah, you'll be able to see it on Twitch.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I won't go into soapbox on that, but I think Mixer's hilarious to me.
I've been watching some Mixer.
Yeah. Well,
there's a streamer that I actually liked that got an exclusive contract with Mixer to leave Twitch.
Okay.
And so I've been watching it a little bit. I still have annoyances about the platform, but he's actually a pretty big influencer, and he's already trying to be like changing that. Apparently, I don't know how this translates. So like, it's called Inside Xbox, but
see, that's what I thought, yeah.
In letters, it's XO, and I'm like, I don't understand what XO means other than hugs and kisses. Like,
yeah,
how does Inside Xbox translate to XO? But I'm sure it means something, and just because I'm not an Xbox person, I'm stupid.
Man, I play Xbox too, but I have no idea what the heck this is. So the question is like, what are we going to see here? I mean, we're obviously going to have to get some stuff on Scarlet. Get some Halo.
I want to see all those studios that you bought. I want to see what they're going to either come out with to end this generation, or like give me part of the things to look forward to with Scarlet. We already got Halo, and Halo's going to be cross-gen. I don't care if you're giving more cross-gen things. It's just I guess I shouldn't say I need, because I really don't care. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to get to Scarlet right now. I'm assuming I will, but at the same time, if I can play Halo on my OG Xbox One, that might be good enough for me for right now. I need some games.
Yeah. I'm in a similar situation because I mean, up until recently, I was like, dude, I'm going to buy both. I'm going to unbox both. But the more that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I have not turned on my Xbox in months. I've been playing PlayStation
for years, and I didn't.
Yeah, like I've been playing PlayStation. I've been playing Switch. I realized when, I think I told you about this, I changed the way that we were essentially watching TV and started our streaming services, our Netflix and such, started using the app on the TV instead of the Xbox.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, it's an extra step or whatever to turn on the Xbox. And now I'm like, I like never turn on my Xbox.
Nope.
So you really got to show me, I mean, really show me what you got in this. Like, why should I be playing Xbox at this point? Because I can play everything else, and there's hardly anything that's not on, I mean, other than Forza and Halo. Like, show me something else that was like, you have to come here for that. Because they keep canceling games that I want to play. So
what's crazy about it is if anybody that like has been out of gaming for a while, I'll tell them to get an Xbox. It's stupid. Like, it doesn't make it makes zero, and that's only because Game Pass is too good of a deal, man.
Game Pass is good. Deal.
And the only reason that I just don't like, I'm not saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks and everything, but it's just like, I have such a PlayStation library. Like, I have such a PS4 library that right now I'm not going to play Xbox. Like, I can't do it. Like, for example, people were talking about like how they're playing Outer Worlds for, the price of their Game Pass because after Microsoft bought them, it became Game Pass day one. Because that's their commitment. That's such a great deal.
Yeah.
So I still keep telling people, it's just at the same time, I can't, like, I just don't care. Like, it's not enough. I have the money, but and that's the thing, and that's not set as a bragging point. If you're a person who like wants to get in on like the cheap and instantly have access to hundreds of games, get you an Xbox One S on Black Friday. I think I already saw a deal where there's going to be one for as cheap as $150 possibly.
Jeez.
Get that $150 Xbox. Get you some Game Pass. Don't bother buying anything. Like, who cares? Just get you a good controller, Game Pass, you'll be hooked up for under $200 with a ginormous library.
Tons of good games. You're talking about hundreds of good games, like really good games. And like you said, if you haven't been playing in a while, everything's on there.
That's what's funny about it. Like, it's funny, as much as it seems like me and Patrick kind of like, we don't dunk on Xbox or anything. Like, it's just since we own everything and this gen, it's kind of just been a thing of like, well, here's another exclusive that I'm playing on my PlayStation. What you got, Xbox? Like, that's what it always seems like. But at the same time, if you don't have the library and maybe the resources that we do, like, Xbox is still totally the way to go. So I'm going to be trying to pay attention the next couple days, and I'll probably be posting some stuff, and we'll definitely talk about it next week for sure.
Yes, we will. So check us out next week. Tune in every single week here, talking gaming news, and we'll see you next time. Bye.